Remember what it was like to be a kid? To explore and play. To roam free all day. In Jamestown, North Carolina, we get out of the grind and escape into the moment. People feel good here. Let loose here. Eat well here. Feel swell here. We go for a ride or an afternoon stroll. We cheer each other on. And go for the goal. Here, a treasured history meets the energy of a town on the rise. In a place with true heart and soul. And where we have our own special beat. Jamestown, North Carolina, where history and possibility meet.
I'd like to call this meeting to order, the regular meeting, February 12th, 2024 of the Planning Board. At this time, we need to make an election of a chair of the Planning Board. Do we have any nominations for the election of a chair?
I'd like to nominate Ed Stafford.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ed, congratulations being Planning Board Chair.
Thank you, everyone. Look forward to a good year together.
This time, we need to have an election of the Vice Chair. Oh, Ed, it's back to you. You are the Chair of the Planning Board, so you're on agenda item 3.
Can I make a suggestion, nomination?
You can,
I would like to propose Russell Walker as our vice chair.
you can make a nomination, but you cannot make the motion as the chair. So someone else
Okay.
would have to make the motion if Russ accepts the nomination.
Okay, I'd like to nominate Russ.
Russ, do you accept that nomination?
Yes.
And if anyone would like a motion.
So moved.
Robert, a motion? Second?
Second.
Don. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Russell, very much. At this time, I'm going to do a roll call. Hope Ing,
Present.
Sherry Richmond,
Present.
Robert Kuhn,
Present.
Denise Johnson,
Present.
Ed Stafford,
Present?
Russell Walker,
Here.
Peggy Levi,
Here.
Jane Walker Payne,
Present.
Donald Dale.
Present.
Quorum is present. I have in the packet setting for the regular meeting schedule for 2024. It's on the last page. There has been an adjustment. The November 11th meeting, which would have been our second Monday, is a holiday. It's Veterans Day. So that has been adjusted to the Monday before, November 4th. If you have any questions, let me know. need a motion to accept the regular meeting schedule. Sherry's.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the 2024 regular planning board schedule with the amendment to the November meeting date.
Second.
All approve?
Aye.
Any disapprove? Okay, thank you, the ayes have it. Okay. I'd like to call for the approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or deletions to the minutes from the June 12th regular meeting that we had?
I had called Anna earlier about a misspelling that looks like it's been corrected in our packet, so
Okay,
other than that, they look good.
yeah. I went through and that's close to how I remember it. Okay, would someone like to make a motion for those to be approved?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from June 12th, 2023, our regular meeting.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Jane. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Now, I'd like to call on, Anna, are you going to go over the planning board duties for us?
So at this first organizational meeting, I just wanted to, with some new members on, just go over the general duties of the planning board and what's expected and kind of how it goes. So planning boards are established by General Statute 160D 301 and Article 4.2 of the LDO. So if you hear General Statute 160D, that's the North Carolina statute that really covers everything planning. The planning board is an advisory board to town council. So this means you as the planning board does not make the final decision on any planning matters. Your motions are recommendations to the council. At that time, the council will hear the planning board's recommendation, but they may or may not follow your recommendation. The most common things that the planning board will hear are recommendations on rezonings and land development ordinance or the LDO amendments. So first, I'm going to just go over rezonings real quick. There are 5 types of rezonings or zoning amendments: conventional, conditional, form-based, overlay, and districts allowed by charter. Now, we really only will hear 2 of these in general at Jamestown: conventional and conditional rezonings. So conventional zonings districts matched up with what's lined up in the LDO. You have your permitted use table. I'm going from single family, and I wanted to put a business there, so I had to rezone it. I'm going to rezone it to commercial, and you, as the planning board, will say, yes, this makes sense, or no, it doesn't. At that time, we always will keep in mind that if it's a straight rezoning or conventional rezoning, if it's going to commercial, anything that's listed in that commercial use could go there. So that's a conventional zoning. A conditional rezoning, which we've had quite a few of lately, they have site plans or individual development conditions imposed as well. So the conditions have to agree upon between both the owner-developer and the town. We can't say, you have to put in gold paved sidewalks unless they agree to it. And they can't say, you're gonna give me $100,000 to put in this development unless we agree to it, which I don't think we're gonna agree to. So a recent example of a conditional zoning is the parcels in front of GTCC on Westgate City Boulevard. The owner wanted to rezone these from civic to conditional zoning bypass. And the reason they wanted to do that is because they only wanted to allow very limited uses that they thought complemented the campus. So that's an example of conditional zoning. So instead of every single use that's shown, they say, we want to have this, but we also want to limit what's allowed to go there. The conditional zoning will stay with the property. It is not with the property owner. One is rezoned, that property stays with those conditions. So when you consider these rezonings, there's 2 parts to it: a statement of consistency and a statement of reasonableness. So the planning board will determine if the rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan. I have given you all a printed copy of the comprehensive plan because I would encourage you to look at it during rezonings and especially review, there's 2 sections, the vision for the future and future land use sections of this plan. So a zoning case, when you hear it, it can be consistent or inconsistent and still be recommended. If it is inconsistent, because that statement of consistency, you'll say why you're approving this. I mentioned the GTCC conditional rezoning because this is a good example of this. The future land use map at the time said it should be industrial, but that no longer made sense. So the planning board and council said, while it is inconsistent with the plan, it makes sense because of how this area has developed. The other thing is the statement of reasonableness. This considers things such as physical attributes, benefits or detriments to landowners, neighbors, community, surrounding neighbors, relationship between current and permissible develop around it, and why it is in the public interest. So the statement of consistency says yes or no, this is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The statement of reasonable says it's consistent with, it's reasonable because it's consistent with the plan and it does X, Y, Z in the community. So that's rezonings in a nutshell. I just wanted a quick overview of those and what you may see coming up. The other thing planning board members you'll hear are often are LDO or Land Development Ordinance amendments. So these occur due to changes in laws, for a need for an update. We may have revisions that are requested by council to review, correct error, provide consistency or clarity. So recent ordinance update we had for the sign ordinance prohibit digital changeable copy signs in all zoning districts. And at the same time, we had some inconsistencies with sizes for signs, and we fixed those. So all of these are things that you will get to discuss and vote on and make motions and recommendations to council. You as the planning board also act as the Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment has authority on quasi-judicial matters. Quasi-judicial means it's court-like, quasi-judicial. These are things such as variance requests. When a stream is in someone's backyard and they can't put their house there because a stream's there, they will come to the Board of Adjustments and say, I need a setback variance. And you will say, yes, this makes sense, or no, you can't do that. You get to hear everything. So because this is quasi-judicial, you will not be hearing general comments, opinions from Joe Smith down the block. You will hear from expert witnesses only, quasi-judicial. You will also hear and decide if there's an appeal of an order, denial of permit, or other decision made by an administrative official. The Board of Adjustments, you make the final decision, unlike as planning board. It does not go to town council. Whatever you make is a decision. If the person wants to appeal your decision, it will go to Superior Court. So, the last thing I want to remind you of is to not discuss zoning matters in groups larger than 4 outside of a public meeting. We don't want to break any public meeting laws. If you all happen to be eating lunch across the street and you say, oh, there's 4 of us here, let's grab a big table and eat together and talk about that, please don't. Sit apart. You can meet in groups of 2. You can meet in groups of 3. Just please do not have a quorum. So a quorum for this full group is 4. If it was something that was in town only and ETJ property was not in talks, your quorum is only groups, you could meet in groups of 2. Don't meet in groups of 3. So saying that does not mean you cannot discuss this with each other. You can call your fellow planning board members and say, hey, what do you think about this? I've really been thinking about that. That's fine. You can call and meet over coffee, discuss thoughts on ongoing cases. Just please do not have a quorum. And that's what I have for you as a basic overview of planning board, what to expect, your duties, what you'll likely see often. If you have questions on specific things, I recommend you give me a call and we can discuss anything really detailed. If you have any general questions today, I'm happy to answer.
Can I ask a clarification?
Yes.
ETJ is not on the Board of Adjustments, correct?
ETJ can be in the Board of Adjustment meeting if the request is in the ETJ. So if there was a variance request, if someone's building a house in the ETJ and they need a variance on their property, we would have ETJ members present. Just hasn't happened that often. Anything else?
Good question.
Good question.
Thank you very much, and I'm always available for questions.
Thank you, Hannah. Now, do we have a public comment period tonight?
There's no one signed up.
No one signed up?
I have a question.
Yes. All right.
Where can we make some suggestions about future meetings, like to maybe research, for example, the number of vehicles on a property? Could we have a meeting and just discuss that? Because one property has 24 vehicles on it. And could we look at, maybe the staff could look at it and maybe have a meeting to look at how those things are going?
The appropriate way to do something like that is, the best way to do it is to talk to your town council members and see if it's something that they're interested in pursuing. The other way is that you can ask the planning board, and you have to have a majority say, yes, this is something we want to pursue, but just please remember that's always staff time, and it sounds like that's probably a code enforcement violation, so if you want to give me that property later, I'm happy to look into it.
Well, I don't know, it's been like that for years, I guess, but another thing that, there's things like lightings and natural areas, and I know our code enforcement looks at some of these things, but I don't know if there's a way for us to introduce a topic that we could discuss. In other words, have the staff look at lighting, like some people are putting spotlights on their houses and it goes to bedrooms about 4 houses away. Are there things that we could say, hey, let's review everything at this particular meeting with staff input and maybe update it or see if there are holes in it, like there was in the digital lighting. There were.
So the appropriate way is to ask a council member.
A council member would decide whether we need to go over
say,
those.
so recently with digital signage, it was brought up, and Councilmember Rayborn said, I'd like staff to review this more and bring forth recommendations.
Okay, I just wanted to know the process, because I know we've had other stuff brought up in the past, but it was mainly with the Horton property where we discussed a lot of different issues. It was under that umbrella, not separate.
Sure.
So just let me repeat, so if we have a concern about something like that, we need to talk with the town council member, and if it rises to a level, then they'll talk to you and ask for your assistance some way or another, or arrange to set up a special meeting.
Yeah, and the other way to do that is you can bring it to me, and we can, in a meeting, that would be my number one recommendation, to bring something, because you want to make sure this is a concern of council, who are elected officials. The other way is to bring it to me, and I will present it to the planning board, and if there is a majority that says, yes, this is something we'd like you to address, then staff will research it and bring recommendations forward.
Well, thank you.
So just speak with me after.
Yeah, I wanted to know the process, where if several of us have the same concern about different issues that come up, things don't stay the same in any neighborhood.
Things are always changing, yeah.
There
Change
That's-
is always
yeah.
coming.
changes, so.
So those are the appropriate avenues to do it.
So if
Good question.
there are situations, then I would see you and see if there are ordinances already that just aren't being enforced, or if there are holes in it that are now appearing,
Yeah,
for whatever
I would,
reason.
absolutely. If you give me a call, I'm always happy to meet and we can check over those
Okay.
things.
Good.
Because I have 3 major ones.
Yeah.
Of course I would, you know that.
Unexpected call from Elaine, very soon. All right. Was there any other business on the agenda for tonight? I don't see any. Welcome the new members, and we're sure glad to have you all here. We look forward to serving with you this year. Appreciate all the work that goes in to have this plan and zoning committee. Thank you for the staff and everyone for all the work you do. And if there's nothing else, motion to Would someone make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thanks. So moved. Good night.